welcome to another episode of the It's Just a Hill Cycling Podcast. I am your host, John.
Wait, did I say the host thing? No, maybe I don't know. I'm here at BSP Cal Goodhouse. We're Amateurs Talking Pros. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for indulging in that intro.
That was funny. I didn't know we were going to do that.
Yeah, no, we just came up with it on the spot. Yeah. Before we get into talking about pros, we want to talk about amateurs real quick. You know, Cal, you mentioned this in the group chat. The local races, there were local Rhode Island road races. There aren't many of them these days, so I think it's nice to talk about them, right? There was Buzz the Tower and the Brumble Kermesse, and we really don't know who won what. Because did you find any results anywhere?
I know Robin Carpenter from Legion Los Angeles won.
Yeah. Local KOM stealer. Robin Carpenter?
Won Buzz the Tower.
Fucking Asian Beatles. Yeah, that's what that is.
So, yeah, my friend Tucker was in that race.
Nice.
Got in the break, ended up 6th, I believe.
Cool. Yeah.
And
this
then,
is at Buzz the Tower at Ninegrit?
This is Buzz. No, yeah, it's Buzz the Tower.
Yeah.
And then Brumble Bikes. Yeah, don't really know what happened there.
Yeah, we know Adam went. He texted us a little bit in the group chat. He did. I don't know. He said he placed like 19th out of 54 or something like that.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, that's all I really saw.
Nice.
Kind of wish I went to that one.
Yeah, Easter Sunday is tough.
Easter Sunday is tough. I agree.
It was a holy day, Easter Sunday. We had Easter. We had the Ronde van Vlaanderen.
Yeah, right. Flanders was that day.
It was Ramadan.
It was Ramadan.
And the start of local racing here in Rhode Island.
Yeah.
So,
and maybe the end of local racing here in Rhode Island. There isn't much. I mean, unfortunately.
there's
going to be a Sunshine Crit.
There's the Sunshine Crit in May, I believe that is. Up in Massachusetts, there's the Boston Bean Pot Crit.
Oh, okay.
It was part of the Eastern Collegiate Cycling Conference. So yeah, there's a couple races.
More than I do.
Some coming up. Ken Herod road race up in Harvard, Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot.
Killington Stage Race is back. That's a really fun one.
That's good.
Yeah, and then Green Mountain Stage Race.
Yeah, that's another big one. Those are both in Vermont.
Yeah,
in
highly recommend.
May and then September. Is that right? Like Memorial Day and Labor Day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then also, sorry if you mentioned it, that all breezed right by me, but the something that Tony and someone else is organizing. Checkpoint style race.
Yeah.
In the
420
city.
Pothole.
Yeah.
What is it?
The Alley Cat race.
Yeah, the Alley Cat race.
Yeah, Alley Cat.
And it's on 420.
On 420.
And you're right. We should just talk about this real quick. Oh my gosh. What is it called? It's an Alley Cat race. Oh, Potholes in My Alley Cat on 420, 2024, 12 p.m. reg, 1 p.m. start from Dexter Training Ground at the Armory in, Providence. Yeah. On Cranston Street. Is it Cranston Street?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In between Cranston and Westminster.
Yeah. And it's $10 to race, rain or shine. And some of those money goes to spoke cards, which must be some Alley Cat thing. And the rest of it goes to cash prizes for the winners. And it is my niece's first birthday, so I don't think I'm going to be able to make it, but it sounds like fun. And I honestly would love to do it.
I've never ridden my bike in Providence.
No?
I've been living in Rhode Island for almost 4 years now. Never ridden my bike through Providence.
Well, it's going to get harder because they're taking the bike lane away on South Water Street.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I just rode on it the other day.
And it is nice.
I like it.
It's relatively well protected.
I'm a
and
fan.
I have ridden my bike in the city, and I've ridden my bike during chaotic times in the city, and it's been a little bit hairy. But I've also ridden my bike like early morning Sunday in the city, and it's honestly, there's very few things like that type of riding. It seems really different because I mostly ride in like rural areas, and it just was like really peaceful, and there was like a solid flow to the city. And I mean, I think Providence is like a cool looking city,
Absolutely.
So, you ever ridden in the city?
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah. You ever do any of those big hills?
Yeah. I enjoy it.
We've ridden through the city together once on the way to a group ride.
Yeah, on early Sunday morning.
It was nice.
That was really, really nice.
Yeah.
But I really enjoy riding in the city. I don't like riding in the city as part of like a road ride where it's like for exercise, because then we're like trying to go fast, and then
true.
it's like things can get confusing with like intersections and cars and lights but if I'm just kind of out riding my bike for fun and I'm not worried about pace or something, I just think it's super fun.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
It's just such a different experience.
So Cal, let's take you to the big city of Providence.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, or just go to the Alley Cat, April 20th, which is in just a couple weeks. What about, do we want to talk about where we're at with our own riding? You guys been riding your bikes outside?
I have been riding it outside a little bit.
Ryan seems a little scared. I think his answer might be no. That's okay,
not
Ryan.
really.
That's okay.
No, I'll talk about it.
Spring's coming in fits and starts here.
Yeah.
It seems like,
It's supposed to be really nice the beginning of next week, and I'm just looking forward to that right now. We're recording this on a Thursday. Sunday's the first IJAH ride. It maybe like high 40s, not like maybe the best weather. I really couldn't give a fuck, but I don't think that many people are going to come out necessarily. Monday and Tuesday, though, are 60 degrees and sunny.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, looks great.
Yeah, this winter I kind of been doing like 50-50 running, cycling, a lot of time on the trainer as well, or not relatively a lot for me anyway. So yeah, I definitely want to start getting the longer rides in, building up my endurance again.
Yeah, that's what I'm all about right now, my endurance. What about you, Brian? We all canceled our Zwifts.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought I still had a few more days before mine ran up.
A week left. Yeah.
And I was riding yesterday on Zwift, and
did it cut out mid-ride?
Yeah, and I was just as soon as I started, it was like, you have 25K left. And then I was just like, well, I don't know what that means. And then as I kept riding, I looked down at it because I wasn't paying attention to Zwift. I was just like
limited.
I was watching something. Kilometers? Yeah, because it was actually like a free trial.
Right.
Oh.
And then
because it was already done.
And then I looked down at some point and it was like, you have 5 kilometers left in your free trial. I was just like, well, I don't know what's going to happen. Like, is this going to cut out on me and then it's not going to sync to Strava?
Yeah.
And then no one's going to know that I got my 18 miles that day. So I just stopped it and made sure it uploaded, and then I kept riding.
That's good.
Yeah. But yeah, I've been riding not much outside, just sort of like a couple times just for fun, just simply to get some fresh air. And then I rode from my house to the east side last week just as a commute situation. And that was very enjoyable.
On your road bike? Or
I did, yeah. It was on my road bike, but I need to get
like a commuter, you mean?
Commuter bike, yeah. Because I don't want to be putting those extra, potentially hazardous miles on my road bike.
It's fun to have another bike too.
And then also, like, I don't know, it's maybe not the best bike to be riding through the city and, like, I don't know, getting flats on, like, shitty roads on Crescent Street the whole way, because I live I live, like, right off Crescent Street, so all I have to do is take Crescent Street the whole way in. Yeah. And the pavement quality
can be a gauntlet.
Garbage.
Too. Yeah.
And sometimes it smells like garbage. You get stuck. I remember one morning I was riding, like, I was going to do like an East Bay ride from my house, and I was stuck behind a garbage truck on Crescent Street that whole way, and it was just horrendous.
Great draft. Great drafting a garbage truck.
It was rough.
I've done that before.
Like, it was like just dripping like a solid liquid line behind it.
Yeah, I hate that.
It was bad.
Yeah, not good.
What about you, John? Where are you at with your riding right now?
And I guess I had like my first like really big ride of the year
nice.
Last weekend. I rode 112 miles.
Oh, nice.
It was like 6.5 hours, and I rode to Brooklyn, Connecticut, and then to Lebanon, Connecticut, and then came back, and I had a tailwind for like the last 42 miles. So I planned it nicely. It was windy as hell, but it was great, and I felt pretty good. And I'm trying to just get my endurance up because I want to do bigger days this year. Trying to do just like bigger, longer efforts, back-to-back efforts and stuff like that. So that's sort of what I'm training for. I'm using the Join Cycling app.
Okay.
And it's been working really well. It was like a 2-week free trial with a code and then $20 off 6 months. So I canceled Zwift. There are workouts built in. You can put... you give it weekly availability, and your availability can constantly shift, and it gives you sort of an arbitrary number of what your fitness is, which seems like all of these apps have that, which I don't know. I kind of struggle with that sometimes. Okay, you're at 32.5. You started at 28. I'm like, okay, that's, whatever the hell that means.
It's all just relevant to itself.
Exactly. But it does seem to be working, and it's really helping me realize how much more I should be recovering. And how much easy riding benefits, as long as you're still mixing in hard rides and doing enough polarization. But I'd really, you could sort of simplify it to 80-20, 80% Z2 and 20% hard efforts. I think that's almost too simple, but just, not necessarily wanting to ride hard all the time and realizing that okay, I can very easily overtrain with the mindset that I have towards cycling. I can overtrain in 2 weeks, and it's not sustainable. you know? And so that's sort of what I've been focusing on, like enjoying like the bigger rides, but also like chilling to make sure that like I'm getting the proper gains from those big rides and not just like wearing myself thin, you know? So that's been like a different perspective for me, which has been nice.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. Thanks. Okay. Well, as you know, as much as good as I feel on the bike, the Peloton feels like shit because they've been crashing left and right. And it is early April and the Peloton is in rough shape. There was a huge crash today in Itzulia Basque country, like a really strange crash. And, but like, Jonas went down, Primoz went down, Remco went down, broken collarbones for Remco and Jonas. And I mean, I don't want to like dwell on the crashes themselves, but there's been a lot of crashes. Wout is out, right? He went down in Dwars-Door. There was a big crash there. Mads was involved. Biniam was involved. Christophe Laporte has been sick. Visma seems to be getting the worst of it at this time of year, but like, I don't know. I mean, it's not going to make me any less excited for the season, but like, I mean, these are people that we're talking about too, but like, how does it affect the rest of the season? Like, are there usually this many crashes this early in the year, Cal? There's a lot of people that have been affected.
Well, yes and no. I mean, I think every year we do seem to lose a big name to some kind of injury, invariably. Like, you know, we often think that the Tour is going to be this big showdown between 3 or 4 GC contenders, and we seem to always lose one, be it like Egan Bernal riding his time trial bike into the back of a bus, or Chris Froome. Pog broke his wrist last year. So it does seem like we do always lose a top contender, either before the race or at the very start of the Tour or something like that. It seems like Jumbo in particular took a lot of
a lot of the brunt
abuse
of it.
This season. Kind of funny because they won all 3 Grand Tours last year, so now they're kind of suddenly having bad luck. But to have,
I mean, they still have had pretty good luck.
Yeah,
you know,
but to have Roglic, Vingegaard, and Remco all go down in the same crash, was really quite bizarre. Roglic fortunately only seems to have abrasions from it. Abandoned the race anyway, but I think that was just out of an abundance of caution. Because he crashed the day before. So yeah, I don't know. I think cycling is a brutal sport. There's always crashes. It happens in training too.
Yeah, for sure.
But that being said,
training,
I think Leonard Kamna was hit by a car while training. So yeah, but I mean, I do think that the UCI does need to continue to address the issue of rider safety.
Sure.
But at the same time, there's always going to be chaos out on the road. Yeah.
Brian, did you see the big crash today? What are your thoughts? Well, going down too was big. I mean, I know we were all like upset about that.
Yeah, I mean, like Cal was saying, there's always some big contenders and people that are going down early in the season at other races that they're using as prep races. So it can be sad. Well, it's always sad when people go down, no matter who they are.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does just seem like now, especially with the crash today, it's maybe a higher percentage of big name riders that have gone down early in this season. It sucks because it's so early on in this timeline right now, and we do know, the injuries that Jonas has and, other people from that crash. Do we know about Remco?
Yeah, broken collarbone as well. And a scapula.
Yes.
Yeah. So just like his fucked up his shoulder. He slid for 30 feet on that shoulder. It was a bad.
Yeah.
Well, and it's a weird crash, man. I watched it slow-mo a bunch of times. It is a strange crash.
They all just go right off the road.
Remco rights himself. He does. His rear tire does not slip out.
He jumped over that big
the second half of the ditch. But before that, he's turning and he brings his weight back to center.
Yeah.
And then he goes off the side of the road. It's like, so they all just go off, like they don't hit each other's wheels. They're just going off the side of the road.
Yeah. Like, I think it was just probably like the bumpiness of the pavement, like I said, like roots and stuff under the pavement pushing it up. And,
okay.
And then the speed that they were going around the corner, and then a lot of them realized like too late and then plus the bumpiness, they couldn't make that turn, or else they were just going to slip out.
It didn't look like there was oil on the road.
No, it didn't look like
look
it.
different from above.
Yeah.
But
I watched a ton of videos today, and I'm forgetting which one said that, but someone had said that it was all roots.
I mean, that would make it like adds a vibration, and like you don't have the same grip on your tire.
Right. So that's and then I was also thinking, well, like you're hearing people, like in his case, he's hearing people right behind him go down. Yeah. So maybe he doesn't want to make too sharp of a move.
Yeah, for sure.
And then risk someone going into him, where he's I'm just going to keep it straight right behind and just jump over this. I'm going to keep it straight and jump over this ditch thing and try to save it on the grass. And then he slipped out on the grass.
Concrete ditch.
Yeah. And then it was probably more roots in the grass.
Sure.
That if he was just sliding for that long at that speed,
he goes far.
Just snapped his shoulder.
He goes really far. I hate to laugh, and he like walked away. He was obviously like in pain, and you know, not that it's better to laugh because he's conscious. There was a lot of that. Like, there's this. I saw a debate online about like showing the coverage. You know, I mean, it's obviously grim to talk about. Even when we started talking about it, the level like in the room went down because we were talking about this. It's like it's a heinous thing. And they're showing live footage of it, and the guys on Eurosport are like, "Oh, we wish we weren't showing this. Like the families don't want to see it." And Chris Horner, did anyone see what Chris Horner said?
I was going to bring that up.
Yeah. The families need to see the live footage. What you need to understand is the families want to see the live footage. Chris Horner, shut the fuck up. His takes are all so terrible.
Oh no.
Yeah, you saw the same thing?
I did watch it, and I really don't like watching him.
I guess I just don't like his energy. I don't necessarily disagree with.
I liked what he was saying because it was from a perspective that I don't have, and we're always seeing like, and I feel like it might have been the Basque Tour last year where there was a bad crash, and the cameras just stayed on it, and the commentators were like, "Wow, we need to get these cameras off this thing," but like.
They kept cutting.
It was an interesting perspective. Interesting perspective that I hadn't thought about.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
I've seen some where there was a crash at Il Lombardia where guys went over the guardrail, and to like replay those kinds of crashes, I think is terrible.
Yes.
This one, you could tell like Jonas was moving, everybody was conscious and stuff. It was a bad crash, but nobody wasn't dying or anything like that.
Sure.
Unfortunately.
Like what you were just saying, there's no need to keep replaying the actual incident, especially if it's horrific, like a guardrail incident.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I forget which female rider when she went over the guardrail and it sliced through her quad.
Chloe Dygert.
Yeah, Chloe Dygert. Yeah.
Finally back to racing.
She's like, just like, I don't even want to see that once.
Right.
Let alone being a member of her family, seeing it over and over again. But like what Chris Horner was saying was the lack of information as a family member and just wondering if your
but like hopefully the
partner
team's
is
giving you that information. You're not just getting it from Eurosport.
Well, yeah, but it was more about, I think the timeline specifically is what he's saying is like, well, if they can be seeing it literally live and see that their husband or wife is there breathing, moving.
Yeah.
Then it's better than not seeing anything and just wondering and waiting for 20 minutes or a half hour until you get communication.
Riders. Yeah.
I guess
so I get it, but I don't know.
A big question is, so with the trend with this generation of riders like Jonas and Remco is they race, they do a lot of race days, especially compared to like the era of the guy whose name we always bleep. If you look at back in the 90s,
they would like just do the tour or Paris-Nice and the tour.
Yeah, even Chris Froome. Yeah, they'd do more just
training days,
altitude camps, training days, and then they would only race a few select stage races ahead of the tour. Yeah. Whereas this generation of riders tends to race everything. Guys like Pog want to win all the different races. And we saw Pog, he had a crash, broke his wrist last year. Yeah. And now this spring he's doing a lot fewer races.
He is doing less stuff.
And it's great because now he's looking more favorable for the Giro Tour double. With
he's going to triple.
These other guys going out. He's
going to
yeah.
He's going to...
Oh, because he wants to do the Olympics. Worlds.
Yeah, I'm sure he wants to try to win.
Let's do Olympics and Worlds.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, do you think that has any correlation with the amount of big crashes that happen.
I think the more days you race, the more likely you are to crash.
Oh, true. Well,
just
yeah,
statistically.
Sure.
So, I think it's a gamble, and you could argue from a sponsorship perspective or from a team perspective that the risk isn't worth the reward for doing a race like the Basque Country that most people haven't heard of.
I mean, no offense to Basque Country, it's a World Tour race, right?
Yeah.
But essentially, it's a training race for a lot of riders, right?
It's not prestigious.
No, it's not necessarily prestigious, right? Like, and not to say that like Jonas goes there and he doesn't want to win, right? But if he does lose 20 to 30 seconds on the opening time trial and it's only a 7-stage race, is he necessarily going to like burn a bunch of matches to win this when he can just like have more in the tank for later in the season? I mean, there's still a little way away from the Tour, and like collarbones can heal relatively quickly, and like hopefully him and Remco are okay and they can get back to racing soon and all of that. But like, I mean, it's a lot, obviously. It's big. It could change the whole course of the season, right? Like, if Wout is hurt enough to not do the Giro, then maybe he ends up at the Tour. Like, the Giro's in 5 weeks. So, I mean, I hate to like value what races they're doing versus their safety, right? I mean, we know they're all still alive, I guess. And I think a lot of the thoughts are like, well, how does this change the pattern of the season?
Yeah.
And it can, and I think it just goes to prove that like it can change in a heartbeat, like if you bet on cycling and you bet on Jonas 3 months ago, maybe you're thinking about that differently now, but yeah. So we sort of talked about Pog, who's doing a couple of races. He is cleaning up at the races that he did, though. He did Catalunya. He won 4 of 7 stages. And then, of course, he had that huge attack on Strade, right? That was with 70K to go. Yeah. So those are big. I mean, he's looking great. Yeah.
Yes, he's looking unstoppable.
And he's doing one thing before the Giro. He's doing one, like, stage, short thing, like a 3 to 5 stage, maybe a 7-stage race before the Giro, I think.
I was hoping he was going to do LBL again, but we'll see.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Maybe it is LBL then. When is that? In a few weeks?
It's at the end of the Ardennes Classics. So after Roubaix, we'll have a couple, those like the Flèche Wallonne and stuff like that. And then, it'll all kind of, the Spring Classics will wrap up with LBL.
Yeah. Then Giro's early May. Yeah. Flanders, Vanderpool.
Yeah.
Unreal. Yeah, that was just about a week ago now.
So I actually didn't watch Flanders, I'll admit.
Oh, okay.
I had company the night before. It was Easter Sunday morning, and I had to drive out to Connecticut to see my family. So I turned it on to check in at 9:30, just literally in time to see MVDP riding away from the Peloton on the Koppenberg. Which is pretty amazing because like
that was a great spot to turn it on, honestly.
Practically the only one who could even get up the hill. Everyone else was sliding out and putting their feet down behind him. So, but just even seeing that little portion, I was like, that's it. The race is over.
Yeah, I watched way too much of it. I watched so much of it, and I'm just like, would be like walking away, getting ready for like, getting together with my family on Easter, and with like 20K to go and be like, this fucking guy's going to win. And I would come back 3K later and I'd be like, he's good. Damn it. What the hell? But he crushed it. He absolutely crushed it. And, there was a lot of slippage. It was the Koppenberg, right? Where all the slipping happened. Garcia Cortez, right? Like absolutely slips out. Jorgensen and Mads make it up, but basically everyone else gets stopped. Have you heard of this argument that like the Koppenberg ruins Flanders because shit like that happens? Like it almost has an effect of neutralizing in a way.
Well,
but that's racing, right? Like I don't know. I think it's an interesting argument.
Yeah, well, you can make the same case about the Forest of Arenberg in Paris-Roubaix, which is a hot topic right now as well, because that's another sort of choke point in the race that there's often a crash and can effectively, and if you're not in the front 5 or 10 riders at that point, your race is over.
Yeah, is it an uneven way of like not even, it's like the opposite of leveling the playing field, right?
Well, it's all about positioning, right? If your team can keep you at the front until that critical moment.
Yeah, true.
It makes me think about the like those final 2 descents of like Tirreno Adriatico. I mean Milan San Remo.
Oh, yes.
Where it's just like, if you're not in the top 3, then it's almost like you have no chance. You know what I mean? But the roads are so skinny. So it's just like more of a non-cobbled version of the same argument.
Yeah, but it definitely is a pinch point in a way that... Yeah, but I don't know, like... I just saw a lot of discourse of that on the internet. Like, oh, this is boring. Like, I hate that. This is boring shit. Like, people were saying that Pog on Strade was boring. And yeah, it might not be as exciting as like a sprint to the finish, but like, you know, we're witnessing one of the best bike riders of all time.
Yeah.
And he wants to crush everything, and he seems to be having a great time while doing it. And people are like, wow, this is boring. And like, I don't like Vanderpool, but I don't think him crushing a race and leaving them all in the dust because he's got like great cyclocross skills and can ride up fucking rocks better than anyone. I mean, he's a world champion and he's doing it in that jersey and he's like crushing it. So good for him, right? Like, that's exciting.
Yeah, well, I'll admit I was less excited for Flanders this year because Wout wasn't going to be there. It was kind of a big bummer.
Yeah.
But this race visually, it looked like the images from it looked awesome because it was a rainy Flanders, which we rarely get, and so see those guys streaked in mud, kind of trying to fight their way over the cobbled climbs. You know, I don't think there's ever such a thing as a boring bike race unless it's a completely flat sprint stage in July.
I agree.
So.
Yeah, I watch the most boring things for cycling, and I will just look at the countryside and listen to the commentators. Yeah. Even if they talk about Vanderpool's grandpappy a million times. What do you think? You think it's boring?
Which ones? I think a flat
boring?
transition stage in a 3-week tour is boring.
Oh, for sure.
But
for sure, a breakaway day on stage 14 or whatever.
I'm pretty torn with the like Pog and Vanderpool situation. I can see why people might think it's boring.
Here's the thing.
But I'm a little bit torn. I'm not sure which way to go on it.
You know what? You don't have to fucking watch it.
Yeah.
Not you.
No, yeah. One.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but like, you don't have to watch it.
Yeah.
Like, if it's long, right? Sometimes, like, we're talking 5 or 6, 7 hours. It's a dumb amount of time if you have better things to do, you know? But I just think that's the like, there's a lot of cycling on, right? We're in the middle of it. Like, most of the time it's on during the week right now. Even Basque Country, after the crash happened and the neutralization, I still like had it on and I was watching and I was listening, and like, just because I'm interested in it. And, you know, I was lucky enough to like just be home and like being able to like have it on while I'm like on the trainer and, you know, doing whatever around the house. But it's such a weird, I don't know. It's such a, people I guess will just complain about whatever they can complain about. But
I think for me, and I think we touched on this a bit last time.
Yeah.
Right after, like, I think that was like right after Pog's win of the 70K breakaway.
Yeah.
Like, I think in Strada, that was a really good example of like, yes, there was one person that broke away and it could have been very boring if the cameras just stayed on him.
Yes.
Which sometimes can happen.
Yeah, there was a great race behind.
But it was just like, there was a really great race behind of it constantly, you know, rotating and whatever. And the cameras were on that for most of it.
Yeah.
And then occasionally you just jump back and be like, there's Pog. He's out front. He's going to win. So let's go back to the other, race for the podium.
Yeah.
And that was still exciting.
Flanders,
so I think if you can have the best of both worlds in that way.
Flanders had an exciting sprint, right? You wrote down here, Matthews was relegated, which I don't even know if I guess he did go way over the road. Maybe it's just because I like him.
Well, he did. He was
it was a weird relegation.
Went to the right and then the left.
Yeah.
I don't think it was the most egregious one ever, though.
No, me either.
He was kind of leading it out, which you're allowed to deviate from your line.
Right, because you're in the front.
If you're
not.
in the front.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
He had second, right?
Did they relegate him to
9th or 11th? Or
that far?
And
back of the group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
And he was fined. And he doesn't get the UCI points. And I think it was like 405 points. And like, J. Cole wants points.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was that bad.
And Wout's Easter dinner.
Yes. So, well, first, I'll just briefly say American Magnus Sheffield finished 6th at Paris-Roubaix.
Oh, he did?
So that was exciting.
Oh.
Yeah.
Paris-Roubaix?
I mean, Flanders.
Oh, Flanders. Yeah.
Yes, I saw that. I saw that.
I missed that.
Made a mental note of it. but it doesn't matter because I forgot it.
But yeah,
thank you for saying it.
Now you remember it.
But yeah, during Flanders, practically in the middle of the race or after the race had ended, Wout just posted on his Instagram a photo of just a dining room table for his Easter dinner.
It was adorable. He actually spent time with his family.
But it was like a beer and French fries. If you looked at it, that was on his table.
Yeah. Hell yes, French fries and mayo.
Very extremely Belgian.
Yeah, hell
Do you
yeah.
like mayo? What's your go-to fry condiment?
Oh my God! Starting with me, Jesus.
One thing that you can put on fries. I'm not counting salt. Salt doesn't count. Salt should be on them. They should come salted.
Can it be multiple things, or does it have to be one thing?
Oh, okay, we can do multiple, but I'm talking
The way I would dress my fries. And if my wife hears this, she's gonna shake her head. The way I would dress my fries, if I could have anything, is a lot of malt vinegar.
Yeah.
And a laughable amount of black pepper.
Nice.
Oh, okay. A laughable amount of black
vinegar and pepper. Wow.
I actually
just started
that.
I just started doing this on my wife brought home from her job with events, whatever. She brought home a bunch of Lay's potato chip bags, like small bags.
Yep.
And one day I was like, why don't I just do this? Opened up the bag, just shook the vinegar in, and just ground the black pepper in, and then just shook it up. And it was one of the best things ever.
So this is just a regular Lay's, like a
regular, classic
and
Lay's.
I noticed when you did the ground pepper,
I have an electric pepper
you
grinder.
did the bite on the top like the electric. You did. Yeah.
I did.
Nice.
Because I hold the bag.
Yeah.
And that's thanks to my brother-in-law.
Grinder. I think you need to grind pepper. Otherwise, it's just dusty, flavorless kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah. You kidding me? You ain't getting any of the health benefits.
Yeah, you freaking kidding me? You're not getting any of the pepper health benefits.
Maybe some green peppercorns, some pink peppercorns. Yeah. Maybe,
Where'd you get that? Sharper Image?
No, my brother-in-law bought it for me for Christmas.
Nice guy.
A couple years ago.
How do you like your fries, Cal?
Mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise is hands down.
I would go with mayonnaise.
I mean, you had some time to think about it.
Yeah, but I do like to get adventurous. So like if I'm someplace and there's like a sauce that I haven't known about before, haven't tried, I'll go for like the special sauce.
You know what I've been doing? I've been grabbing like a new sauce at the grocery store every time I go.
Nice.
Like, let me just try this.
I like that.
This special sauce, there's a lot of mayo-based sauces. Aioli adjacent, if you will.
Yeah.
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 I'm gonna vinegar and blood. So yeah, but I asked you fries. You said you've been doing that with chips.
Well, that's what I do with fries, but I recently did it with chips, and it was fucking.
You got
great.
any more of those bags of chips at all?
Couple.
Nice. Good for you. I'm coming over. Women's Flanders was also very exciting.
Yeah.
It was an awesome sprint finish. It was a 3-rider sprint at the end. Eliza Longo Borghini, and it was essentially a 2-rider sprint, I guess, because she was there with her teammate Van Envoy, and Kasia Nuyadoma came in second. But it was just like an awesome race, and it's actually slightly more interesting than the men's.
I saw Kasia was getting some, or she responded to some critics who were saying
afterwards,
that she was like, because she was very happy after the race.
Yeah, she got second in Flanders.
So, but yeah,
I'd be pumped if I was fucking 100th. You know?
Yeah, but she's had some very close wins in her career and hasn't necessarily gotten on the top step that often. But
they're mad at people for being happy.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I did see she has a big smile on her face in the picture. It was she was at a tactical disadvantage at the end of the race.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Extremely tough situation.
I think I thought it was I thought it was like an exciting race.
It was great.
There was also a chokehold on the Koppenberg, and it was kind of nastier actually, just like a full stop. Yeah,
falling over. Yeah.
Kasia Nuyadoma came over and did the Lifetime Grand Prix.
Yeah, because she's the gravel world champion.
Yeah, she's the gravel world champion. She did like some of the one. I think she came to 1 or 2 of like the 6 or 7. I think she won them both. Yeah, yes. Absolute crusher. Wow. Yeah. So there are a couple other races before we look ahead and talk about Paris-Roubaix. But so Arsdor was a big crash. That was when Wout went down, Mads went down, right? Matteo Jorgensen. It is Jorgensen. Won this one.
Yeah.
And he also won Paris-Nice.
He did.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah, incredible.
and beating Remco as well.
In Paris-Nice.
Yeah, Remco second, McNulty third.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, and that's kind of a funny one because Remco, after the race, made an Instagram post about all the other stuff that he won at the race.
Did he?
Yeah.
Was this also the race where he did the thing, like the phone call thing?
Yeah, he did that victory.
Because he won the last stage, but he
won the last stage. He won the mountains and the points classification as well. So he was kind of talking himself up about that stuff.
Really good at jumping over ditches too. You got to hand it to him. So he seems like, he's so cocky. You know, I think we were talking about it at the time when he did the phone call thing, and I was saying he reminds me of the guy we thought Pog was going to be,
right?
Like the cocky asshole.
Yeah,
and Pog has matured into this guy that like has been this very fun like face of pro cycling, and Remco has this. You know, it's like the attitude that I pretend Vanderpool has. Like, I don't know if I still hate that he threw a 13-year-old girl to the ground. Like, I really can't get past that. And if you can, more power to you, I guess. But there are people, I don't know, Remco just, like, it seems so petty of him to, like, be like, well, I did win whatever, you know? Like, I won the last stage, though. Yeah, well, okay.
I do wonder, he's kind of had this up and down career though, and he's had a lot of expectation placed.
Yeah, a lot of pressure.
So I do kind of wonder if the cockiness might be a defense mechanism to some degree.
Yeah, we really don't know what he's going through.
A young athlete having to cope with that, but
being called the next Eddie Merckx is a lot.
With this latest crash, now he's had the collarbone, which is going to disrupt his season this year.
Yeah,
he had COVID and had to drop out of the Giro before.
Yeah.
He had a horrible crash at Lombardia back in 2020. So he's had some real ups and downs. So I'm curious as he gets older if his personality is going to change or what'll happen. We'll see.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Speaking of personalities, Jasper Philipsen has had a pretty good year.
Yeah.
He won Brugge de Pana, but also Milan San Remo. And pretty solid start to the season for Alpecin. As much as I might hate to say it, though.
No, absolutely.
Right? That MSR was, sheesh.
First real bunch sprint finish we've seen at MSR in several years.
Yeah. Usually someone goes on the Cipresso or whatever the hell the other one is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The last 10K of that race were
it's always awesome.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. Yeah. Anything else to say about MSR? I mean, it was exciting. I know it was like a month ago, but it was exciting.
Well, I would just like to circle back and say, like, I'm really psyched for Matteo Jorgensen.
Oh, me too.
Or how Carlton Kirby says it, Matteo.
Yeah. He does say
freaking pumped, man. I'm so pumped.
No, me
he's
too.
really had such a great showing so far this season now that he's on, VLab.
Oh, okay. I like that. VLB.
And then also, like, maybe Sepp has not had as great of a showing as we had hoped so far this season, but like we'll see what happens. It's early.
Can't tell if Sepp's trying or not.
That TT that he did was the first day of Basque Country.
Yeah,
kind of weird, but what is it? Whatever.
Yeah, maybe he's saving it up.
He's saving it for the Vuelta. Maybe he's going that more traditional route of like he still has to be there to be a domestique, right?
Yeah. But with the crashes now for VLab, like
for sure.
I don't know. Maybe we can see
is it VLab or VLB? What do you like more?
I'm kind of like VLab.
I like VLab.
I don't know if people are saying that, but
I like
VLab. We
can
get it going now.
Dude, everyone's still saying Jumbo, or half the people are still saying Jumbo.
Yeah.
Well, I had to stop myself. I almost said Jumbo.
Cal did earlier. It's okay. It happens.
But
Carlton Kirby.
I don't know. Like maybe we can see an extra win here or there from Matteo or Sepp. Like,
well,
Jorgensen could stop his season right now and he'd be good.
Oh my god,
right? Those are huge wins.
He 2 years,
very big wins.
Movistar, just like seconds, top tens, coming close.
Yeah,
and now as soon as he's on VLab, he's fucking killing it.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
It is awesome. Yeah, thanks for bringing it back.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. So, and then what did I neglect to respond to?
Well, MSR, but it's okay.
MSR, yeah, it was great finish as always. Very exciting. I tried to get some people to watch it. I don't know if they watched it, but
people that aren't into cycling.
Yeah.
How often do you try to do that?
Not often.
Yeah, sometimes I explain it to like maybe family that aren't into cycling, but
yeah.
It seems to be a lost cause.
Because I just think it's objective that the last 15, 20K of MSR just, I think anyone could watch that and understand what is happening and find it exciting.
I don't know. I would.
These people are riding their bike down this hill and they're racing to the end. What's not to understand? Fucking exciting.
You're talking to the wrong guys. Hey. Yeah, don't get mad at us.
You get me all worked up.
It is great, but I agree. Some people are just like, okay.
People riding their bike.
Yeah,
it's not great.
Well, what do they do with the traffic?
Staring at each other's butts?
Yeah. What are the cars doing right now? Should you stop being so focused on cars?
Oh God, I wish I didn't live on that road, huh?
Yeah. Imagine living there. Yeah, imagine living there. It'd be sick. Imagine living at the bottom of the Cipresa. Be the coolest fucking thing in the world. Yeah. What are you talking about? These are the same people that are like, watching Vanderpool do 500 watts for 10 minutes is boring.
Okay. There's one house on that descent that pro riders regularly go overshoot the corner and end up in the guy's driveway. There's this one house where
what did they do? Didn't they do something in the front yard?
No, but like,
I thought they like extended the pavement
that
or something.
Homeowner who like every couple of years a pro cyclist ends up in your yard.
Yeah. Was it last year Paris-Roubaix when Vanderpool shit in someone's bathroom?
That was the Olympics. Or no, sorry, Worlds.
Oh, it was at Worlds.
Yeah, because it was the protest. Yeah.
And then he won. No wonder people like him. Not for me. Okay, so then speaking of Vanderpool, he also won E3. Does anyone remember when E3 was mad homophobic 6 months ago?
I think this is the race that every year has some controversial poster. Like it did the one of Peter Sagan pinching podium
the girl's butt.
Yeah.
Yes. Same race.
Yeah.
They use often problematic imagery, and they used a homophobic way to promote the race about 6 months ago. The internet was up in arms. Can't believe they're doing this. They're so out of touch. We're not going to watch this race. Race happens. No one says shit. Everyone covers it like normal. I did not hear a peep. And I listened to 3 or 4 cycling podcasts and watched the race. I didn't hear a peep about it.
This is in Belgium?
I don't know. It's named after a road. Yeah, it's in Belgium. E3 is like a Saxo Bank Classic or Haro.
It's either Belgium or the Netherlands.
Yeah.
I didn't. I actually didn't catch any of that.
Great. We don't need to talk about it. Vanderpool.
But I guess I'm not sorry. So
yeah. In Ghent-Wevelgem, I think I said that right. Mads won and Lorena Vibas won. 2 big, strong sort of sprinters
Mads
winning the. Yeah.
Beat MVDP in a 2-man sprint.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was great.
Yeah, which also sort of bodes well for Paris-Roubaix. If it comes down to them again, it could very well. So Mads did go down in Doorsdorp, and he looked way better than I think anyone thought he would a few days later in Flanders. I would love.
I was surprised when I saw him in Flanders.
Right? It seemed like he went down in that wild crash with Binny, and he ended up getting back on his bike. No, did he not get back on his bike during Doorsdorp? But he still raced Flanders and did pretty well.
Yeah. I think he might have got back on and finished in Doorsdorp.
Yeah.
But and then I just feel like Mads is having a great season so far. He's got that big win.
Good,
and Milan as well.
Unfortunate for Jasper Stuyven. Could have he looked to be really on good form.
Do you know he's a chocolatier?
No.
He owns a chocolate shop.
So he's like the new Pinot. Pinot was cute because of the goats. And
I guess.
Jasper Stuyven. He owns a chocolate shop.
Mm-hmm. He owns it.
He owns a chocolate shop. Yeah.
Wow. That's cool.
Let's talk about Paris-Roubaix a little bit.
All right.
I failed to do the transition earlier. We were talking about safety. There was a big safety change in the course. Is this where Vanderpool went down last year too?
I don't think he crashed there.
Oh, okay. Vanderpool crashed on a corner last year that was the start of a cobbled sector. I thought it might have been this one. And he got right back up and ended up winning Paris-Roubaix last year. But they created this really hooked chicane in order for and it seems
now
not safe at all.
Now, Yeah, like you said, so they cross over some railroad tracks and they have to take a really quick swooping right and then almost a U-turn back
left.
to then a left to then take another right onto the cobbles.
Right.
So typically,
So is this to like? Typically, they would just go straight onto it.
Typically, they
Over the railroad.
Over the railroad.
down a hill, going like 60 kilometers an hour, like over, 30 miles an hour, and it's a choke point, so it gets extremely narrow onto the cobbles. And so, typically the first 5-10 riders get through there, and then there's almost always massive crashes. And even some, like I can remember
How is
years
this going to be better?
where there's crashes with motorbikes and stuff like that. I think it will be better, actually.
You think because they'll slow down sooner, having
just
to
'cause
take the right?
I'm in favor
they're
of this
forced to
'cause
slow
I think,
down.
hitting the cobbles at such speeds.
I guess if it slows it down before the uphill, they won't be going into that choke point as quickly. It seemed really strange when I first saw it.
Yeah, they have to go and make a U-turn.
Yeah.
Right, basically right before the start of the cobbles.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think it is better. I think it is probably going to cause fewer crashes. And
Well, Vanderpool didn't like it, and I didn't like it, so nobody's perfect.
Well, I mean, hopefully it will cause less crashes because it's such a different thing and such a strategic thing that everyone's going to know. Yeah. And the DSs and whoever else on the management is just going to be like, listen, you got to slow down. You got to do this U-turn thing, or else you're just going to fly over those barriers. So let's hope that doesn't happen.
Well, the women's race is first. It's on Saturday.
Yeah.
The first one was only in 2021, which it was supposed to be in 2020, but it was postponed because of COVID. It's 148.5 kilometers. I think there's a few different front runners, right? Lotta Kopecky, Marianne Voss, Elisa Balsamo, and last year's winner, Allison Jackson. Now, I hate to say this, but is anyone else sick of the Allison Jackson shtick, or am I just too cynical?
I never liked it.
You never liked it.
What, the TikTok dancey shtick?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really love it that much.
I liked the dance at the end of Paris-Roubaix, right? And
I just like the emotion.
Stardom, right?
Yeah.
And she's North American, right? She's from Canada. She has a great personality. Yeah. She's a great rider. But then, like, I don't know. Maybe it's just because of what I'm seeing on Instagram. She dances a lot, and she reminds me of the uncle that's trying to have too much fun with the kids. Like that, like almost like Uncle Buck type of attitude. And I'm kind of like, I don't know about this.
Yeah, I shouldn't hate because, I think social media.
It does terrible things.
Well, it does terrible things, I think, but it also can be good and help people with their sense of identity and expressing themselves and stuff like that. But TikTok, I'm almost 40. I hate TikTok.
I hate TikTok too. Yeah.
Just dancing. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, it is. I guess if it was other Instagram content, right? But I am. Yeah. What do you think?
I mean,
you're a big dancer. So your TikTok is.
Yeah, I didn't necessarily always love that. I think I just liked that she had a seemingly bubbly personality and was very fun and outgoing and was sort of bringing a different vibe to the sport.
Yeah. And her win was fantastic.
Oh, it truly was.
A surprise sprint win like that, like Paris-Roubaix, those kinds of finishes. There was a similar one with Maddie Heyman in the men's race in 2016. It was
Sonny Colbrelli a few years ago.
So
love that.
Those surprise wins are amazing.
Yeah.
And the women's race, all 3 years, has been great. They do it. It's awesome that they do it the day before because I think more people actually watch it that way.
Sure, make a full weekend out of it too, right?
Yeah. So, and the images from it, the photos, it's always wonderful. So
yeah. Has anyone seen what the forecast is supposed to be like over there?
I have not.
No.
I know that's like a big thing, right? When it's muddy. Colbrelli year was very muddy. He came across the line really dirty. Sort of mentioned some of the front runners, but there's a lot of great riders I think that could win, and I love watching that sprint at the Velodrome.
Yeah, very cool.
And the men's is the day after. On Sunday, it's 260K. Now, this one dates back to 1896. It has taken place 120 times. There are 29 sections of cobbles. That's 55.7 kilometers of the race is cobbled sectors. Would we pretty much say that Vanderpool is the outstanding sort of favorite here, much like he was last weekend at Flanders?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Ryan?
Yeah, probably. I just don't want to say it.
He is the odds-on favorite, and his teammate Jasper is second. Jasper also finished second last year.
Yeah.
And so the two of them together, it's going to be pretty difficult to beat.
Yeah.
That being said, Mads Pedersen is looking great as well.
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
And Roubaix in general is a very chaotic race.
Yeah.
So anything can happen.
Flats happen all the time. I remember Laporte had a pretty bad flat last year, and I think Wout had a bad mechanical at one point too.
Yeah, Wout's always had bad luck at Roubaix.
I think it was like on one of those last sectors, Wout had a flat coming off it.
Right.
So we had to stop it, and that was when Van der Poel went.
He won't be there, but Visma will have Jorgensen, Laporte, and Dylan Van Barl. So maybe they can do something together. It's not really the most team tactic. I guess it could be to get you on the front to get to one of the sectors soon.
Van Barl's a former winner as well. So.
Yeah. Bettiol, Biniam will be there. He's kind of had a lackluster season. Casper Asgreen, did he win it a few years ago?
Yes.
Yeah, he won it a few years back, right?
Oh, no, he won Flanders. I'm sorry. He won Flanders.
Yeah. Wellens and Niels Pollitt from UAE. Stefan Kung, Mate Mohoric. What if... Let's make... Do you want to make predictions?
Well, quickly, I'll say, when I was looking at the start list... which wasn't incomplete, but there was an American I never noticed before, Riley
Sheehan. Yes.
Yeah.
Who's on Israel.
Yes.
Yeah.
Last year he had a huge win.
And I'd never actually heard of him, but the Lantern Rouge Cycling Podcast in their Paris-Roubaix preview actually called him out. So
love that.
Wow.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Sweet.
He had a big win last season. I think it might have been Flesh Wallone or something like that.
No, really?
Or maybe he won a stage of something. But yeah, as I look him up here, he's from Boulder. He rides for Israel Premier Tech, and what did he win? Oh, this is great podcasting. This year. He won Paris Tour.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He won the Paris Tour last year. So that's, decent.
Yeah.
Came in 9th at the Maryland Cycling Classic, did some local crits, US Pro crit. He was 7. Japan Cup. Didn't do many other things. It seems weird to pick him as the overall winner.
Well, Paris Tour...
They love to do that on Lantern Rouge.
Paris Tour is kind of like it's in the fall.
Yeah.
And it is sort of like a similar...
They run on some of the same roads too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that has dirt roads, actually.
Yeah, I think it does. Yeah.
So,
who are you picking?
I would like to go with Mads.
Wow, good pick. Cal, what do you got?
I'm going to go with John Degenkolb.
Oh, my God. It's such a funny pick.
I know.
All right, I'm going with Abrahamson then from UAE.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. I think he's too young, but I can't wait till some other team gobbles him up. I said UAE, but I meant Uno X.
Gotcha.
He's on Uno X. Isaac, I think it's Isaac Abrahamson. But I honestly think that's like my far-fetched pick. I actually think Philipsen is going to win.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't want it to happen.
Van der Poel going to lead him out?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. He's going to lead him out. Yeah.
I would like Mohoric to win.
Me too.
That'd be great.
Yeah,
or Mads.
Honestly, anyone else, it'd be great. I don't think, there's so many Asian
Ladybug on my neck.
beetles. Yeah, they look, yeah.
Did you see that?
I did.
It was on your
Was
neck?
it there? How long was it there for?
Oh, no. I saw you get it.
You gotta tell me.
I didn't see it was on your neck.
This is why you
I
have
think
to
it
watch
just.
the
I think it just
podcast.
landed.
Yeah, and my house gets them. There's a lot of them in the springtime and in the fall time, and they're an invasive species, and they're actually not ladybugs. They're Asian beetles. And I have another podcast about insects, and you can watch that one for the breakdown. But they have different dots and a different face, and an Asian beetle has a white dot on its face, and a ladybug doesn't.
Oh, I thought you were saying that ladybugs are actually not a thing, and it's just...
No, ladybugs are a thing. The ones that are in my house are Asian beetles, and they're an invasive species. Yeah. And it's a problem here in Washington County. I don't know if Cal gets them at his house.
I haven't had them at our house, but I had them at my last place I worked.
Yeah. All right. Women's, I'm going to say Marianne Vos is going to win.
I like that pick.
Yeah. Got a pick?
No.
Okay.
Sorry.
Got a pick?
I'll go.
Could have just said one of the names.
I know I could have, but
I'm gonna go.
Fight for Georgie. That's a fun name. There's a lot of fun names. Emma Norsgaard.
I go a lot of Kopecky.
Nice. All right, Brian, you still going to say no one?
Consoni.
Oh,
Just to pick one.
Chiara
In case,
Consoni.
just to pick somebody. In case
Nice.
they win.
Yeah. No more. Our favorite rider, Cecily Uttrup Ludwig, has been out.
Yeah, she
for
went
a
down
while
hard,
now.
right?
Yeah, she's been out with I think she fractured her pelvis.
Yeah, I think she
So,
did too. Yeah. That's a shame.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, it's okay. And on the down note.
Yeah.
And on a down note. That's always good. Yeah. All right. Anything else we want to say before we get out of here? Thank you guys very much for coming.
I would like a take back.
What are you going to take back?
I don't like that I called Allison Jackson's personality bubbly.
You think that's negative?
No, I don't think it was negative. I just think,
You think it's
it was
inaccurate?
No, I didn't like that I said it.
Oh, okay.
It felt creepy.
Take back. Oh, it felt creepy. All right.
Yeah, well, but you know what I mean.
No, if you're taking it back, I don't really know what you mean. You don't have to clarify.
No, like
it's gonna make
that
you
is
feel
the type of
uncomfortable.
personality that she has, but I don't like that I said it. I feel creepy.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
You
You know what I mean?
Do you want to just edit it out?
No.
Okay. All right. So yeah, Paris-Roubaix, and hopefully we'll get together in the next month or so, and we'll wrap up next time. Right? It'll be sort of the wrap up of the classic season, and Grand Tours will be starting,
Yeah.
and the Giro will be here, and Geraint Thomas will win. No way in hell. I feel like there's no way in hell. Even though him and Pog have been training together, which was fun to see.
Nah.
You know. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
See ya.
See ya.
We are It's Just a Hill, a cycling club that promotes inclusion, judgment-free, with no gatekeepers. Focused on creating content from behind the handlebars to in the studio, It's Just a Hill is producing videos and podcasts to spread the message that cycling is for everyone. We are focused on reminding everyone that riding your bike can help you overcome any obstacle, because after all, it's just a hill.
Decaf left, regular right. Decaf left, regular right. It's very challenging work.